You know, there's a passage I think is part of your new book, and I just want to quote it and get your thoughts on it. So here we go. Quote, most of the decisions we make online aren't the product of any thoughtful reasoning, but rather the result of a carefully orchestrated series of steps deployed by companies to grab your attention, access your data, and ensnare your custom. That's a powerful statement. This doesn't sound like a positive future. What are you trying to say there, Nathalie?
I think what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the things that we do online, we do unthinkingly. And when you're looking at a medium that makes it so easy for you to take unthinking, reactive decisions, and the consequence of which can be things like revealing all this information that reveals personal, intimate stuff about ourselves, we really need to be careful about our level of literacy about what we're doing online, why we're doing it, and who's getting that information, so that essentially we get empowered by choice. And that's crucially what the book is about, is empowering people to make an actual choice based on knowledge that they have, rather than getting duped.
You know, my guest last week, I think I was telling you about him, Ty Lopez, he said whoever invented the notification button on Facebook should be a billionaire, because it gives you those little bits of dopamine every single time that you see something change. It's just like we've all gotten addicted to the Twitter feed. Sometimes I catch myself when I'm like doing important work, researching for a wonderful guest like you, and all of a sudden I'll find myself on Twitter and I'm like, there's no reason to be here, and I'll have to trick my brain into going back. How much is that the case, those kind of little bits of dopamine that have now been engineered to really draw our attention, something that didn't happen 1,000 years ago or 100 years ago?
Well, what's interesting with the dopamine patterning, if you look at any system that's been designed to elicit habitual or, in certain cases, addictive patterns of behavior. So, for instance, you go gambling and you've got the slot machines and you're waiting for a prize to come. The most effective pattern for that to elicit the most amount of cash from your customers is called a variable ratio of reinforcement or reward. Basically, all that means is you're going to get a prize, you just don't know when it's going to come or how big it's going to be. And it's the same thing with push notifications or emails or anything where you're kind of engaged in a system that's going to give you some kind of reward. So, for instance, getting an email that's a request for an interview or an article that gets loads of likes, all of these things are rewarding to us and they initiate sort of these dopamine spikes. But the more unpredictable these rewards become, hence on Twitter feeds while we're scrolling down for the good bit, or on Facebook, whatever, the more we're likely to engage in that behavior to get more of those rewards, which ends up causing what's sometimes called a dopamine loop. So you're constantly seeking that hit.
So it's the variability of that dopamine hit that keeps us addicted to it.
It's the variability of the reward, so you don't know when it's going to come.
Or how big it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.